Hello and welcome back to Biweekly Building. Today we're building quite a large project, all in one go as well. I got it done, so yeah, it was alright. I would have liked to maybe put in some more details, but the video's already a little bit late, so yeah, a bit annoying, but yeah, oh well. But we're building a pretty large castle, and it's quite kind of different from a lot of the castles that I usually build because it's not technically a castle. Now that gets confusing because the definition of castle changes on who you ask. So for this one, for me, I'd call this technically a palace, because it's a residence for, say, royalty, and it has no technical defenses. You can't defend this very well, right? It barely has any battlements. It doesn't have arrow loops. It's got massive windows, but it's inspired by castles, specifically those in Germany and places like that are sort of based on a neo-gothic style of castle design. Things like Schloss Neuschwanstein, which I'm probably saying terribly, and especially Hohenzollern Castle, which is where I got the sort of rough design for the main sort of area of the castle. Places like that where they take the sort of principles of castle design, the towers, the walls, locations, things like that, and they take the architecture of neo-gothic castles in places like the Loire Valley of France, and using that they then build these grand palaces, and they are absolutely stunning. They're beautiful. If you Google them, you'll instantly probably realize where Disney got their inspiration for Disney castles, and I thought, well, why not? I like those castles, let's build one. And I've never built specifically in a neo-gothic style, so it was quite interesting to play around with different roof shapes and styles, things like that, and adding in almost decorative crenellations and decorative battlements like that I've just added onto that building down there at the bottom. Also have some of the hallmarks of an actual castle, gatehouses, this location which is pretty easily defensible. It's technically floating currently, but there'll be really, really big cliffs on all three sides of the castle, so it's really, really easy to defend. Also making it sort of nice and elegant, and also bringing in some colours that aren't typically used when building a sort of more traditional castle, say like a Norman keep. You're not necessarily going to be thinking, oh yeah, let's use white and reds and things like that. You're not going to use quartz and granite, the things that I've used here to build the buildings. So it was quite nice to have a bit more bright colour, which is technically more historically accurate in terms of your typical Norman style castles, because they did actually have a whitewash on them. In London there is obviously the Tower of London, which is referred to as the White Tower because it used to have a whitewash on it. It doesn't anymore, quite obviously, but it used to, because it looked nicer, right? It looked nicer than just bare stone. So that's why they put those there. But here it's designed with the whitewash in mind, and it came out quite nice. I'm also building this in, well, I am building it in 1.20.4, but I have the experimental features enabled, so I have things from 1.20.1, so that means I have the tough walls, slabs, stairs, things like that. I have the copper grates, and oh my word, can I just say they're beautiful. I already love the tough blocks, but now that I can make anything with them, it's such a nice addition. And the copper grates, I'm going to be using those for medieval windows for years to come, because they just look like medieval windows. They look like the sort of typical diamond shapes and things like that you see in some medieval windows, and they're perfect for it. Here I decided to put them behind scaffolding, which I'm not entirely sure about that decision. It looked okay, but there's maybe some improvement that could be done with that, maybe some more detailing around the windows to be used instead to create that depth, because there is no depth if you just use the grates. But anyway, the castle building is almost done actually, and I've just sort of waffled over it, though most of it is pretty much the same. We do have certain differences in the roofs and things like that. Some are steeper, some are shallower, but the getting the sort of Gothic style detail is kind of difficult in Minecraft, unless you build at a ridiculously massive scale, which I am not willing to do because I have other things to do. So I mostly focused on the ends of the roofs and the walls around there, and you can see I've got upside down stairs, walls and fences, and I've used that to create a sort of fake detail, pretty much, and things like that I've just popped in there to make it look more detailed. I've got some other sort of stepped roof designs, and things like that, but it was quite a lot of the same building, which was not necessarily the most interesting to build, but it did come out looking pretty good, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, now I had to make it not be floating, and despite this side only taking about 20 minutes, it felt like it took ages. I despise terraforming, but I had to make it look any good. But we do actually get a pretty decent view of the windows, and I looking at them now, especially in the granite, just not happy with them. I wish I'd just done some details around them, but oh well, you live and learn. This cliff was a bit of work, trying to figure out how to make it look good, but also sort of roughly follow the shape and be a little bit natural. I couldn't have it go into every nook and cranny, things like that. I've got it cutting behind a tower here, and I've got bits of the base of the building exposed, and there's that bit around the other side where it sort of, I needed a little bit of a hill to fill in the extra space, and I had to take a few windows out and things like that just took a little bit of time to figure out, because terraforming doesn't quite come naturally to me. And here I just wanted to take the cliffs back down to the ground level, so we've got more of the wall in place and things like that, but also trying to maintain the view from the little bits of garden in there was quite useful. But those are the cliffs. That took like 40 minutes, but felt like it took 2 hours. But oh well. Texturing was pretty simple. The texturing the quartz was kind of difficult. There's not much that's really that shade of white. It's a very specific shade of white that it has. I just did some pretty simple detailing of grass and the sort of courtyards. Added some flags, and there we go. That is it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you again in 2 weeks.